hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, family? It's Hot Boxing Minute. Let's talk boxing. First order of business, hit follow, hit like if you haven't already done so. I hope you're subscribed if you've watched it to this point in the video. The big thing that's hitting the news lines right now, Terence "Bud" Crawford has been ordered by the World Boxing Organization, the WBO, to defend his belt against mandatory challenger Shawn Porter. Now, those of us who love boxing and know the sport love this matchup. It's a great matchup on paper. We've got Shawn Porter, the consummate puncher brawler. You know what he's going to do. He's going to come in. He's going to make it an ugly fight. He's going to throw punches in all different angles. He's going to grab. He's going to hold. He's going to headbutt. It doesn't even matter. We love Shawn Porter regardless because Shawn Porter puts in the work and he never, ever puts on a bad show. And then we got Terence "Bud" Crawford, pound for pound fighter, one of the best fighters in the game, former undisputed junior welterweight champion. You got to give Terence "Bud" Crawford his props, although I got to say his welterweight campaign really isn't as impressive as his junior welterweight campaign is, and I think the big problem or the big snafu with the critics as far as when they're looking at Terence "Bud" Crawford's body of work is that he hasn't fought, of course, the big fish in the water, the big elephant in the room, Errol Spence Jr. That's a big top-ranked PBC issue. And I think Shawn Porter, if I'm not mistaken, is a PBC fighter too. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. So the critics are saying there's no way Bob Arum signs off on it. So let me tell you how it works when you're the mandatory. When you are the mandatory, that means, or when the WBO issues an issue that you have to fight the mandatory, they give you 30 days. So Bud Crawford and his team, Shawn Porter and his team have to come to an agreement within 30 days or it goes to purse bid. Now, what happens when it goes to purse bid means that any other outside promotional companies, not involving the two fighters in their camps, an outside promotional company or another outside company period, or an outside private investor can outbid to see who gets the highest bid, kind of like buying a home, right? It goes on bid for the market. And if I'm not mistaken and I read correctly, it's a 60-40 split in favor of Bud Crawford, which kind of makes sense. He's the champion. He's the one holding the belt. Arguably, Terence "Bud" Crawford is a larger attraction overall than Shawn Porter. I don't think really too many people outside the hardcore boxing world are really up on Shawn Porter. I would go so far as to say most casuals in general know who Shawn Porter is. Shawn Porter, just to let y'all know, is one of my favorite pound-for-pound fighters in the game. I got a short list of my top 5 of current 5 fighters in the game, and he's right there behind Canelo in my eyes. It's Canelo number 1, Terence "Bud" Crawford number 2, Monster Inoue number 3 from Japan. Those are my top 3. I don't even want to go into the top 10 list. I'll do that one on another episode. But I'm a big fan of Bud Crawford. I love the way he closes fights. His last fight, obviously, the 4-round dismantling of Kell Brook. Kell Brook was already a shot fighter by the time Terence "Bud" Crawford got to him. So I can't compare Terence "Bud" Crawford's performance against Kell Brook the same way I can Shawn Porter's performance against Kell Brook. Now, if you don't know, Kell Brook gave Shawn Porter one of his L's. It was a 12-round unanimous decision win in favor of Kell Brook. And then, of course, Terence "Bud" Crawford dismantled him in 4 rounds. But I will say Kell Brook was a shot fighter. He already had one eye socket busted by Triple G when he tried to go up in weight, which he shouldn't have done. In the next fight right after that, he fights who? Errol Spence Jr. and gets his other eye socket busted. That was Kell Brook's mistake. Either way, it didn't really look good for him in that last fight. Normally a strong, athletic type dude, he really looked shop worn and done. I think Kell Brook might be done. There might still be a possibility of a European or a British super fight between him and Amir Khan. That one might have been past its shelf life also, because they should have fought 3-4 years ago easily when Amir Khan was a hot ticket. So, we got Terence "Bud" Crawford ordered to fight Shawn Porter. Do you folks out there think it's going to happen? I've had people in my comment sections on my TikTok tell me that Bob Arum is going to ruin this whole thing. Listen, if they don't find agreement, if they don't come to a financial agreement in 30 days, the fight inevitably is going to go to a purse bid. Now, if that purse bid proves to be unsuccessful and they don't come to an agreement on what to do regarding a fight between them two, Terence "Bud" Crawford has to let go of his belt. He has to forfeit his WBO strap. Now, Terence "Bud" Crawford does have some possibilities. Terence "Bud" Crawford could move up to junior middleweight and try to fight Charlo or try to fight Castano, because Jermell Charlo's actually in his own issues with a mandatory issue. So it doesn't even look like Jermell Charlo's going to be able to fight Brian Castano next. You could file an appeal against that mandatory injunction, and they might give him a stay of execution once he fights Brian Castano. I don't really know. That's a whole different video I should do on my own. But either way, this is about Terence Bud Crawford. And then we've also got the junior welterweights. Josh Taylor, the undisputed junior welterweight king, who has had Bud Crawford's name in his mouth since he won the belts. So this obviously is going to take that potential fight between Josh Taylor and Terence Crawford off the table for the foreseeable future. We're looking at Shawn Porter. We're looking at Terence Crawford. I like this matchup. What do y'all folks think about this matchup? What do you think about the WBO's mandatory order? Is it bad for boxing? Is it good for Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter? Let me know in the comments section what y'all think. This is Hot Boxing.